Hello and welcome to this vlog. It is now 11:15 and I'm trying to read this book. It's the Hunger Games prequel, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and I'm trying to read it in 24 hours. I'm not experienced with readathons yet, so I don't know how realistic this is, but I'm trying my best and hope to get this finished by tomorrow, 11:15. It is now 1:30 and I'm on page 76, and so far I think it's actually pretty good. I like the characters. I think they're pretty interesting. I also think that they are quite different from the Hunger Games trilogy, which I think is pretty good, so it's not as repetitive so far. Yeah, I'm hooked. This is what it looks like beneath the dust jacket, and I feel like it looks like such a Slitherpuff cover. Like, I don't know. And I think that Lucy Gray and Snow have a very interesting chemistry and dynamic, so I'm looking forward to reading more about them. It is now 4:45 and I've reached part 2, which is on page 157, but I'm not sure if I can make it in time for the 24-hour readathon. I think I might go outside now and continue reading there. My thoughts so far on part 1. I like the characters, as in Lucy Gray and Coriolanus. It is now 8:30 p.m. and yeah, I have to say I I like the first part better than the second so far, because I think the Hunger Games themselves are not as interesting as what happened before them. What I find interesting though is to see how the Hunger Games changed from the 10th Hunger Games to the 74th, because when I read the Hunger Games trilogy, I thought the Hunger Games have been like this all along, which apparently they haven't, of course. I mean, there's development, change, which I like. I think it makes it more, more fun to read, because you see how much has changed within those 60 years. One thing that I noticed was that for me it was a bit harder to follow the Hunger Games in this book than in the original trilogy, because we don't have the point of view of a character who's taking part in the Hunger Games. We only have Snow's point of view, but he's out of the arena, so for me it has been a bit more confusing and harder to understand what's going on in the Hunger Games. But I feel like the Hunger Games are actually just not the most important part about this. It's more about Snow's life and his development and his situation and circumstances. So I guess that's okay, and it's interesting to have another point of view. Okay, so something just happened in the back, and I'm not sure whether I like it or not, because to me it's a bit over the top. It's just something that's a little weird. It is now 10:30 p.m. and I have just finished the second part of out of 3 of the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and I'm excited to see how it's gonna continue. I feel like there were a few lengthy parts in between, which is not dramatic or anything, but it is exhausting to read, or at least more exhausting than the trilogy. I personally have no idea what's going to happen in the third part because, well, the second part ended with sort of a cliffhanger. As I know Suzanne Collins, I could imagine that shit is gonna go down in the third part. It is now almost 1 a.m. and I've got a bit more than 100 pages to go, and I also made myself food. So that's the balance here. Book on one leg, food on the other. I'm living my best life. Well, I might have underestimated 100 pages. So I think I'm gonna sleep now and wake up fairly early so that I can finish the last 100 pages tomorrow morning. Good morning from my tired looking face. It is now 9:15 or yeah, 9:30, and I'm gonna try to finish the book, the last 100 pages, within the next hour and a half. May the odds be in my favor. Something very unexpected just happened, and I don't really know what to think. I was certain that something was gonna happen, but I'm not sure if that's the climax yet, or if there's something more to come. Yeah. Well, it's now 11:15, so I just made it right on time. Hello again. It's the same day, just a bit later, and I've thought a bit about the things that I liked about the book and the things that I did not like as much. The first thing that I liked was that we actually get a different point of view. So I always think it's nice to get a sequel that isn't told from the main characters of the original series point of view. I also like the writing. I think Suzanne Collins is an amazing author, and I think she did a great job with this book as well. I also like the characters. Mainly Snow himself and Lucy Gray. I think they were amazingly written, and I liked that they were different than Peter and Katniss. When I read the book, I couldn't shake the feeling that it was mainly fan service. It was not a needed prequel to the story of the Hunger Games. It was nice having it and reading it and learning more about the story, but it just wasn't necessary, really. There was so many Easter eggs in there, and I think, well, fan service, as I mentioned, but I always felt like they were not subtle enough. I always had the feeling that Suzanne Collins was standing right in front of me saying, well, do you see what I did there? Wink. Or I don't know, it wasn't for me, but yeah, one thing I liked though, one Easter egg that I liked was the roses. I think that made sense and that was nice. But the Hanging Tree song, which was written there multiple times, and I mean one time would have done the job. And I did have a few questions when I finished the book. The first question that I had was, Lucy Gray won the Hunger Games, right? So I always thought that Haymitch was the only person from District 12 to win the Hunger Games before Katniss and Peter did. So why didn't we know of Lucy Gray? And why didn't we know that there was a winner from District 12 who cheated in the Hunger Games and won through that? And why did President Snow become president? Didn't nobody ever find out that he cheated in the Hunger Games? I don't know, that didn't really make sense to me. Also, another thing that I found not that logical was the whole development of President Snow. Like, in the beginning, he was a likable character, right? So what made him the crazy, insane president of Panem? I didn't really see it. And to me, it resembled the development that Daenerys Targaryen had in the 8th season of Game of Thrones. Spoiler for Game of Thrones, by the way. When she just turned a switch like that and then she went batshit crazy. To me, that was what happened on the last few pages of The Ballad of Snakes and Songbirds. Yes, he did suffer from that whole situation, and yeah, there were some things that had a huge impact on him, but I feel like he returned to the capital. He had this talk with the doctor and the principal, and then he went like, oh, well, I'm gonna become a crazy president now. So to me, it didn't really add up. I'm wondering whether there's gonna be another prequel, because I could imagine that, and I think it might be interesting. Although this book was not perfect by any means, I did enjoy it, and I did have a good readathon with it, which is why I gave it 3.5 stars out of 5 eventually, because it was fine. Thank you for watching, and I hope you're having a great day. Leave a comment whether you liked the book or not, if you've read it already. Yeah, and I'll see you in my next video.